Welcome to Limitless Podcasts. I am with a special guest today, Andrea Gonnella from Notes Nirvana. Hi, Andrea.
Hey, Kristina, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited for this. I was hoping that maybe we could go into a little bit of your background. From what I understand, you come from a deep background in music and jazz. I'm curious how your training as a musician evolved into becoming a sound bath practitioner.
Yeah, so I guess I should probably start by saying that I started playing music when I was really young. I actually started at 5 years old playing piano. And right away, I enjoyed playing music. I continued on to play trombone once I got into school and played trombone all the way through. Continued to play in college.
Wow.
And, yeah, I was a jazz trombone major. I was really lucky. I studied with one of the best trombone players in the world, Conrad Herwig. He's a very well-known jazz trombonist, and I studied at Rutgers University in New Jersey. And studying with him gave me access to some of the best jazz ensembles in the world, the Mingus Band, the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra, and the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra was in residence when I did my master's degree. I was just exposed to just a huge variety of the best jazz musicians in the world.
It's very cool.
And yeah, I was really lucky in that way. Also, during that time, I was exposed to a lot of world music, like Latin jazz, Afro Caribbean rhythms. And I think because of that, it kind of got me thinking about the variety of percussion instruments. And a lot of those percussion instruments I use in my sound bath today. I knew how to play them because I watched a lot of my college professors and people who were, using them at that time. But it did take me a long time before I started actually experimenting with sound bath and using them in my performances. Uh,
Okay. How long?
Probably about almost about 20 years. I after Instead of performing after I graduated from college, I ended up teaching music in Long Island and teaching general music. So that's basically like K to 5 general music and chorus. And a lot what I think people don't know about general music is that just there's a huge variety of different types of music that you're teaching to kids. So it's not so much about teaching kids to be like the best at singing or the best at playing percussion instruments. It's teaching them you know, giving them experiences to help them love music and be part of music. And that really, I was like, if that's good for kids, it must also be good for adults. And I, that's why I started.
Did you experience a sound bath on your journey of experiencing all these types of music?
Yes. So, I guess it was 2000 and it was before I had my daughter. So I had my daughter in 2020. So I guess it was a little before that. It's like how I
Okay.
measure time. It was like before I had her.
Yeah.
I did my yoga teacher training. And I went on a retreat where heard a sound bath for the first time. And it was just like a really profound experience. It was not your typical sound bath. So a lot of times people think of sound bath as just the singing bowl part of it. And this was not that. Like there was a cello, a violin, many, many percussion instruments, gongs, shakers. People walked around the room with different instruments. And I was like, this is like mind blowing. It was just an
Wow.
incredible experience to me. I probably had a different experience because of my musical background. And actually, when I came out of that sound bath, I was with a group of people, and some of them didn't like it. And I was like thinking to
Hmm.
myself, how could you not like this? It was just, but I think again, it was because of my musical background. And
Still
so
sounds amazing to have that many instruments involved.
yeah, I think it was like a unique experience, and that probably at that time, sound bath was a little bit new to people in a certain way. Like now, I think it's different. I
Definitely.
mean, even though like sound therapy and using music to help yourself emotionally heal and to feel good is obviously like an ancient tradition, but it's getting more mainstream now and being used as a type of therapeutic practice, like almost the way like people would go to a yoga class or go to like a Reiki healing. Now you can go to a sound bath or a sound healing. But at that time, it was more popular maybe in New York City than it would be in this area in Long Island. So, but in any case, that got me thinking about sound bath and instead of traditional meditation, using sound bath as a form of meditation. and I started looking into, getting some of the instruments and experimenting with playing them.
That's really cool, and also not a straight line to how you got there.
Not at all. I mean, I feel like my journey is really, like, based in what was practical at that time in my life when I was teaching versus, um, I quit my teaching job about 6 months ago to pursue doing, sound therapy, sound bath, and my business, Notes Nirvana, which is a, music-based wellness business full-time. So, that was a really big leap for me and
Yeah,
one that
sounds like
has
it.
been really rewarding, but also is really scary.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So sound can move people in ways traditional words can't. How would you describe the emotional impact of sound to someone who's never actually experienced a sound bath?
Yeah, so, one of my clients just she has, like, this really amazing way with words describing a sound bath, and she always says that she feels enveloped by sound, like, it's, like, almost like getting a hug from musical instruments, and I don't think that I could honestly describe it better than that. It really does feel like that, like you're being surrounded, and especially when I give a sound bath, I do move throughout the room. I try to get instruments to kind of, like, bounce and, like, vibrate off of, the walls and different objects in the room so that you do have that feeling of just, like, you don't even know where the sound is coming from, it's just from everywhere, and that's the feeling I'm trying to create.
That's really good. And I've also experienced your sound baths a few times, so I could say that that is true. That is exactly how it feels.
Oh, thanks.
So that's very cool. And also, you incorporate your voice in some of this as well.
Yeah, I was, like, a really, really late, I guess, late bloomer when it comes to singing. I, like, never sang up until I had an experience with a band that I played with called the Coco Mamas. They're an all-female Latin group. I started when I was in college. I sang some background vocals for them when I was playing trombone. It was all in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I did they were like, "Sing this," and I was like, "Okay," and I did it. Um and then once I started teaching, I had to sing a lot because I got a job teaching chorus. So I started taking lessons when I was like in my 20s and again, never sang before in a choir. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, and I know a lot of people use like kind of like voice therapy or different types of, yeah, like you probably know about it, like more than I do, how to use your voice to kind of like, when things are stuck or you feel stuck.
Yeah, it activates the vagus nerve so that it helps people release emotional trapped feelings or emotional vibrational frequencies that need to be unblocked. That's why
Hmm.
humming, chanting, coughing could even help. But, we ask people to tap on their chest if they're not comfortable with any of the other options.
Yeah, exactly. So I started actively pursuing singing in groups. So I sang in a group called Evoca, which is like a semi-professional choir run by a
In
professor
Spanish?
at Hofstra. No, that was in English. Oh, sometimes in English, sometimes not in English. And that's one thing I learned. And I got really outside of my comfort zone. Like learning to sing in German and Spanish. And again, you don't necessarily know what the words mean, but you learn how to pronounce them.
Yeah.
I got more comfortable singing. I started teaching, chorus, and then at that time, it was my goal to teach, choir the best I could. I was really lucky. I got some opportunities to teach really large choirs. I had a student choir of 350 people at the All County Peak Festival when I was teaching. My choir was like an award-winning choir in Jericho when I was teaching. So I got really into teaching chorus, and then I thought about how to use singing in my sound bath, and also some of the work I'm doing now is trying to figure out how to help adults also, to encourage them to use their voices in a small way. I'm not gonna ask anyone to stand up and sing a solo in any of my classes, but I would
Right.
encourage an adult to join a church choir or to just, like, get outside their comfort zone when it comes to using their voice.
Well, I've experienced many sound baths, and you're the only one that I've experienced where you've incorporated your own voice, and it was really a lovely surprise. And one of my favorite parts of your sound bath is when you incorporate your own voice and the instruments that I've never seen before. So I
Thanks.
love that. And to your point, sound baths have become more popular, more mainstream, if you want to call it that. More mainstream for our field, I think,
Mhm.
the wellness field. But it's traditionally what I've seen is the same things in all of those sound baths, the same type of, bowls, the same type of side instruments that create different sounds like the rain or, a chime or even a gong, but when you incorporate all the other things that I've never seen, I think it has a little bit of a extra flair and specialness to it.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm actually working on some adding some other textures to my sound bath right now. Adding conch shells, which are a large type of snail shell, which actually some jazz musicians use during improvisation. And then I recently got some equipment to take the trombone and add some effects on it to
Wow.
create like ambient music with trombone. So I have some stuff I'm working on to try to, have a different variety in sound bath as well.
That's really great. Every sound bath that you do is unique in some way, right? It's improvisational each time, I would assume,
Mhm. Yeah,
for
for
you.
sure.
So what's the creative process like for you as a live composer of healing landscapes? Like how do you go into these with the mindset of I want to do something different today?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I think there's 2 factors that go into it. The first one is, meeting people where they're at, so when I get to a sound bath, I like to, you know, go up and talk to people before I start, so, I get there early, I set up my instruments, and then as people arrive, I talk to them, I find out about their experience, have they been to sound baths before, and kind of, get a pulse on the room, and
Yeah.
then but then also, you are bringing your own personal feeling into the sound bath as well, as a composer and as a musician. So, if I've had a day where I get an emotional day, I might shift where I'm going with the sound bath as well. And I've had people say to me, especially with the singing, because it is really personal at the end of the sound bath, they're like, whoa, the singing sounded so different today, or I never heard it in that way before. And I'm like, oh, that's
Wow.
because, this morning I had
I'm having a
grumpy
day.
yeah, I had, a grumpy morning and, it came out in my in, a more, just
So
a
it's a
different
parallel process sometimes.
yeah, I feel like it's a process, making connection and allowing some vulnerability in myself at the same time as giving a safe space for the people that are doing the sound baths, because even though I'm facilitating, they're still part of the process.
There's a moment where you mention about your daughter's birth shaping your path into sound healing. Can you share what happened in that experience that made you feel like this could be medicine to you?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of meditation and facilitate mindfulness classes for teachers, and it was silent meditation mostly. And after I had her, it wasn't working. I couldn't clear my thoughts. I had trouble utilizing those strategies I used to use to help myself be more mindful. So I started seeking out different forms of meditation, and sound bath was, just the form that resonated with me. Sarah Oster is a really amazing sound bath practitioner. I started listening to her recordings and it just worked. I was able to rest. I was able to kind of get rid of that anxiety that was stuck. Like when you're a new mom, for me, I just had this experience after she was born, where I felt I mean, probably, a lot of new moms have that feeling where, you're just embarking on this new journey where you feel your body is different, your hormones are different, your emotions are all over the place. And for me, that was also coupled with coming out as a gay person for the first time after I had my daughter. So there was just a lot going on, and
Yeah,
sound bath.
surprise.
Yeah, it's like, wait, I had a baby and now I need to come out to
Yeah,
everyone, and to her. But that definitely helped me. I think music helped me a lot during that part, getting back to the origins of who I was as a musician, and sound baths kinda helped me get back to that.
that's awesome. What an incredible story. I guess there's one part I want to ask before we get into the specific building of Notes of Nirvana. What's one common misconception that maybe sound healing that you constantly find that you have to correct or that's most often misunderstood when it comes to what you do? Is there anything that's common that stands out to you?
Misconception about sound baths. I think that one of the complaints I hear about sound bath is that it is too loud, that it has to be uncomfortable to be working, and a sound bath should not be uncomfortable. It should be relaxing. It is meant to be a relaxation experience. So if you're at a sound bath and your ears are hurting, or if you're feeling like the instruments are overpowering, then it may not be the right sound bath for you. So
Okay.
that's probably the only thing that I've heard. Um, and then and that also it's not just singing bowls, like, that there are many different ways to have a sound bath. You could have one person sitting there playing a clarinet, and that could be a sound bath. You could have a person playing one drum or a percussion ensemble, and that could be a sound bath. So it really is like the making music into a wellness experience that creates a sound bath.
One of the most common things I've been asked when I advertise for sound baths is, "Do you need a bathing suit?" And I
Oh,
say, "No,
yes.
you do not. It's not that kind of bath."
Yes, I've been asked that before as well. Yes.
All right, so you founded Notes and Nirvana with a mission to make meditation and healing more accessible, especially for women and the LGBTQ population. How did specific focus for that develop, and why does it matter to you?
Yeah, well, I guess the first part of why it matters to me is that I'm part of both of those communities. So, uh, you know, part of being in the LGBTQ community is a huge point of pride for me. It took me, I want to say, 30 years to come out of the closet. So creating a safe space for people to be themselves is a huge, it's just a huge passion of mine. And
Mhm.
also because a lot of times when I go to yoga classes or wellness experiences, I sometimes I'm like the only queer person, I guess queer presenting person because you don't really truly know, by looking at someone, what their
Yeah.
identity is. But like the only like queer presenting person. So like I want to create a space and like kind of like be the face of that for people that are looking for that type of
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah, like, community building is really important to me, and also, for women, it's the same thing, and, like, I'm sure, like, for women business owners, it's important to build community because, there's still, like, a minority around that. I mean, I just went to a group recently where I was, one of, a few women out of, like, 70 business owners at an event, and so, like, having a space for women to come and to share their unique experiences is important, and that's really for any marginalized community, whether if that's, Notes in Nirvana, our mission is to create experiences and to make meditation accessible for people, like, regardless of your age, your gender, your sexual orientation, and we wanna do that in our marketing as well. So just to show that everyone is accepted here, and wherever you're at in your journey, we wanna, like, meet you there and hopefully provide a wellness experience if it's, you know
Yeah, that makes sense. I can also understand a lot of those challenges as a female business owner myself, LGBTQ owned and operated in a couple of businesses. You're right. We are underrepresented. That's another reason why we appreciate Notes and Nirvana so much here.
I was just gonna say, like, on a personal level, recently, and I'm 38 years old, and just in the last 6 months, I've had a couple of experiences where I didn't feel safe with as a woman. I didn't feel safe. So, you know, I think it really is important, even now, we think like, "Oh, everything is fine, that, things are progressing," but we
Yeah.
still do need those, like, safe spaces,
Oh,
for
100%.
so,
Especially in
anyway.
today's climate, we need safe spaces. So as someone who bridges art, education, wellness, you spoke a lot about education and art and how you mingled that into the wellness journey that you're now taking. What has been one of the biggest challenges in building a business that blends all of those things with creativity and healing?
Yeah, I think, education is really important because not only am I trying to provide a new service, but also provide education on what that service is. So, like you were saying before, sometimes people are like, "Do I need a bathing suit to go to a sound bath?" If someone asks me, "What do you do?" and I'm like, "I'm a sound bath artist," they're like, "What?" Like I literally have to tell them what I do, and I'm like, "A sound bath is a type of meditation where instead of meditating in silence, you're meditating to instruments, the sounds of
Right.
instruments and
That's a
vibration."
really good way of explaining it.
Just trying to make it accessible and so people understand what it is, because that's the biggest challenge. And then also, building community, building a following, like showing people why this is the space for them, and those are all really big challenges. And I'm from a background in education and music, so learning all the ins and outs of starting a new business is really challenging. I'm lucky that I have a partner who has been a business owner for a long time, and also I've, like, met people through Limitless as well, like yourself and, like, other people that are in the collective that can help me answer questions if I, you know, have a business-related question that I don't know the answer to.
That's great. And that segues into my next set of questions. So thank you for that.
Yes.
How was being part of Limitless Integrative Wellness Collective? How has it influenced your practice, your community, or your vision for sound healing?
Mhm. So I'm glad I was able to segue so easily. And I've, like, met some really amazing people through Limitless. I have to say I joined Limitless because I felt that it was a good match personality-wise with the people that when I went to the first event at Witches Night Out at
Which is
Limitless.
day out. Yeah, which is day
Witches
out
Day
here in
Out, sorry,
Portsmouth.
sorry.
It was the daytime, Andrea.
I know. Assume witches would be out at night, but obviously they're out
Yes.
in the day as
Well, we
well.
were taking over the whole town, but yes, so we met during that event.
Yes, and there was just, like, a feeling of, genuine warmth, wanting to help, wanting to create connection, and so that's what inspired me to wanna be part of the collective, and then also I met some really amazing people that I'm friends with now, honestly. Is Sabrina, who is, a therapist. She
Yep.
was one of the people that I met at, I think she's a compassionate talk therapy, and she's one of the people
Yeah.
I met at that event, and just, like, honestly, the kindness and the willingness to help of all of the therapeutic practitioners that you have at the collective inspired me to get involved and to become part of it.
Do you hope your sound healing business the education can spread with all of us helping spread the word of what it is?
Yes, that would definitely be helpful, so
That you think more wellness practitioners should explore?
I think that one of the insights I gained is that lots of different modes of therapy can work together. The people can use different modes of therapy to work together for them. So it actually inspired me to start doing creative arts therapy. Like, I'm working with a creative arts therapist right now, and I don't think I would have thought to do that if I didn't see that type of work happening at the collective. So
Yeah.
I think that that's really a smart idea that you had to show people that it doesn't have to be your traditional, you go into a room and you talk to someone for,
Yeah.
even though that's really important. And I still, I value my therapist so much.
Absolutely. So
But
many different
that,
types of way of approaching it, though, is your point.
yes, and all of them can be helpful in their own way and to help create, a more emotionally and physically healthier you is just really important. It helps you, to be more grounded for yourself and for your family and for your friends. And, that's what it's all about.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Well, all right, we're circling into our last couple of questions, and they're a little bit for last. What's one thing you want people to feel after a sound bath?
Honestly, I just want them to feel good. I just, you know, I I mean, I don't know if this is pertains to this or not, but I have a dog. He's a sheepadoodle. He's around here somewhere. He's a really big, fluffy, floppy dog. And when I take him to his agility class, he like runs through this big tunnel, and when he's running towards me he's just so happy, and when I see him running towards me I'm so happy, and I have this like feeling of joy. And I think when people are done with one of my sessions I want them to feel this like joy and lightness, um, that you can get from music being in your life, and be inspired to seek out other modes of creativity to help them have that feeling of just that lightness and creativity.
But I can totally picture the way that you describe him, and it almost feels like a happy commercial. You want somebody to feel
Yeah.
light, happy, and joyous after your sound baths.
I just think, like, as adults, we don't have a lot of those moments of levity. We're dealing with a lot.
You're
A lot
right.
of times, like, in, like, this area of, like, midlife, we're raising kids. Sometimes our parents are aging. There's a lot of, like, stuff going on, and you're
Mhm.
trying to, like, find yourself as, like, this new identity as sometimes as a mom or as a business owner, and, like, finding those moments of joy can sometimes be it's, like, really important,
Yeah,
and that's why
right.
that's why I sing during my sound baths too, is because I think people deserve that. They deserve to be sung to, like, the way we sing to our kids, like, the way you might sing a song to an elderly relative, like, you deserve that. And so,
Yeah.
like, giving ourselves, like, those moments of peace and joy is, like, really important.
No, that's a really beautiful perspective.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing it. What is your creative reset ritual before you lead a session? What is
Um
it?
Oh, what do I do personally? I have, like, a couple different things I do depending on my mood. So sometimes I just need to meditate myself.
Okay.
So sometimes I do silent meditation. I use, like, Headspace app to do guided meditations. Also for me, playing piano is really meditative. So I'll sit down at the piano and just play, whatever I'm in the mood to play at that time. And
And
then
that's all before you lead a session?
well, it depends on how much time I have. If I'm just sitting
Okay.
in my car, then I really enjoy listening to podcasts. So hopefully I'll be listening to more Limitless Collective podcasts once
Yes,
this is,
yes.
and I really enjoy listening to, I'm gonna say, music by lesbians. So like Brandy Carlisle, I enjoy listening to Indigo Girls, like
Ani DeFranco.
any like stereotypical folksy lesbian artist, that is who I will be
Amazing.
listening to in the car. Yeah, so
I hope Ani DeFranco's on that list.
I mean, now it's gonna be yeah, definitely will be added, not like on the
Oh
list
my god, you don't know
currently.
her? Oh my god, a whole 'nother podcast. Yeah,
I
alright,
know.
perfect. Okay, so what's a book, an artist, or an idea that's been inspiring to you lately?
My gosh, I feel like I'm like on the spot here. A book that I have been
Well, it could be
reading
a book or an
lately.
artist or an idea that's been inspiring to you, any of those 3.
Book or artist or an idea. I feel like there's, like, so many and now I'm blanking. Hold on, I just need, like, a second.
Yeah, take a second.
Why am I like my brain is, like, literally, like, empty.
Alright, I could pivot to an alternative question.
Just, wait, pivot and come back.
Alright, I'm gonna pivot. Tell me a fun fact about you that no one knows.
Oh my god, that's a hard one too. I feel like I've just, like, told you my entire life story. What else is there?
Okay, tell me what your favorite dessert is.
Favorite dessert. Why are these harder questions than the actual ones about my business?
I don't know.
I don't know why either. Oh, wait, I thought of a book that I read that
Okay,
was I'm not really sure if it's, like, inspiring or not, but my favorite so 2 things. First of all, my favorite artist is, George O'Keeffe.
okay,
So that is there's a book that I was reading about her and her life that was really interesting and inspiring.
perfect.
But I'm not sure if that and then, I'm not sure if that really qualifies actually, but one of the things I'm doing in the studio there's a local artist, Bill Hawkins. He is an incredible artist. He does, like it's like abstract modern art, and I went to his studio the other day, and he's gonna be hanging up artwork in the Notes Nirvana studio. So that's been really inspiring, thinking about that, and
That's
also
awesome.
yeah, so, I mean, you can't really see 'cause it's all blurry, but we're starting the Notes in Nirvana studio here in Oyster Bay, and so some of, my favorite people, like, Lashandra from Inwoven, I don't know if you know her,
Mhm,
but she's gonna
I
be
do.
coming and doing a class here in the spring. Sabrina's gonna be doing a class here. There's a couple other artists that are coming and doing classes with me at the studio.
We have 2 sound baths that we will be hosting that are on the calendar right now for Notes and Nirvana that will be hosted at Limitless. One of them is Saturday, February 28th, down here at 100 Mariners. It's Experience Love Beyond Labels. And then we have Unfold a Spring sound bath. Return to balance and breath and possibilities. That will be Saturday, March 21st at 10 a.m. So if anybody's interested, I'll include those in the show notes, a couple links. Other than that, I want to say thank you so much for coming in and letting me interview you.
Right, great. Thank you so much, Christine. I really appreciate it. I'm like so excited to be of Limitless
Yes.
Collective podcast.
So anything that you want to leave our listeners off with?
Try a sound bath. I know it's
Leave
like
the bathing suit at home.
yeah, just do it. Like if you're like, what's a sound bath? It's like the best way to, find out what something is to experience it. So,
Absolutely.
I promise you're gonna enjoy it. There's nothing better than a sound bath.
There's nothing bad about it. Honestly, it's the easiest thing to attend. You just lay down
It
and
is.
relax.
It's an adult nap time. It is the best thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the information that you shared. You were super candid, which was very fun. Thank you so much for coming in.